Good morning, everybody. I am the Oso Independiente. There we go, fixed. My name is Bear of BearIndependent.com. Welcome back to the Prepper Classroom. Today, we're talking about security, which is what most preppers get wrapped around the axles on. Not that they shouldn't, because obviously it's vitally important. I have a concept that I have been developing, that I have been working on for a long time, that looks something like this. Okay. You see that? You got to be able to produce food and you got to be able to protect it. Those two things go hand in hand. We're going to dive into this a little bit. Excuse me if I sound a little phlegmy. It's because I'm a little phlegmy, because I got a little right here. All right. Security. Most preppers are like, yeah, bro, I run a 300 blackout Winchester Magnum 5.56 SPC, and I've made confirmed headshots on grizzly bears at 4,000 meters with my pistol. And these are level 12 plates. They actually stop sound. Like, shut up, dude. Like, get a life, okay? It's not all that. In fact, the people that focus entirely on that give the rest of us a bad name. A really bad name. If your YouTube thumbnails are some guy holding an AR in front of a burning city with a gas mask on, and it's like, top 12 reasons dogs will eat your bones in Teotihuacan, you're part of the problem, okay? Logical. Let's get into this, because we don't do doomer porn, we don't do fear mongering, we're not into any of that nonsense here. I just want you to leave this video better than when you came here. Now, because of this doomer porn prepper firearms expert-ish industry that exists, yes, and it's an industry, it's clickbait. And by the way, a little YouTube background. So we have impressions, the number of people, think of a funnel. In fact, you know what? Hey, we got a whiteboard. Okay, so up here is impressions, and then this is CTR, click-through rate. Okay, and then down here, this is watch time, and then down here is money. The reason that those obnoxious thumbnails exist is this right here. The YouTube algorithm is built around, or at least it has been since April 2019, has been built around click-through rate, impressions. Impressions is how many people see the thumbnail. Click-through rate is how many people click it. And then the next thing that happens from there is watch time. And the more watch time there is, the more money there is, baby. And don't get it twisted. We make like no money on YouTube, and that's fine. We're not here to make money. We have other platforms to do that with. We have other ways to do that. But a lot of these super ultra tactical channels and the doomer porn channels, all of that is built around getting you to click the thumbnail so that you can watch the video. So we turn impressions into click-through rate, into watch time, into dollar signs, okay? It's designed to get you to click bad information or mediocre information. So, moving on. Security. First things first, weapons and ammo. And we're gonna cruise, baby, cruise, because number one, we have a lot of ground to cover. Number two, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to disagree or have a problem with the lack of nuance that I'm going to give in all of this. So, I would encourage you to go back and watch the other 1,100 plus videos that we have in our body of work between YouTube and Patreon if you need further clarification. I get emails all the time from people who are like, hey Bear, what do you think about the Condor Mop C? YouTube search bar, Bear Condor Mop C. That's what I think about it. Bear, how much water should I store? Bear Independent water. Like, Bear Independent, then thing, the question would be in the YouTube search bar first. Google owns YouTube. Google is the biggest search engine on the planet, which owns the second biggest, which is YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. Use that search bar. You will find whatever the answer to your question is right there in that search bar. If you don't, then please let me know and we will elaborate. Okay, so moving on. Weapons and ammo. Okay. I can already feel people hovering over the keyboard like, "You suck, Bear, I can't believe you." Simmer down, we're gonna get there, okay? For a carbine, that's your AR-15 type-ish platform. I prefer 5.56 millimeter. Is it the best? No. Is it the most powerful? No. Will it shoot the farthest? No. Does it have the most stopping power? No. It's none of these things. But it is size and weight efficient. And you can go watch all of the nut and fancy videos you want in order to learn more about SAWC size and weight constraints, which is a term that he coined, but it's based around in the entirety of human existence. This has been an issue for military units and people in general. We can only carry so much stuff. You're not a pack mule, remember? So I get a lot of people who are like, "Man, I carry a 308 battle rifle and 15 20-round mags." Good for you. What's that, a 35-pound loadout? 30-pound loadout for your rifle and ammo? No thanks. Give me a 7-pound gun and I'll take 10 30-round mags and I'm at 17 pounds. Half of that. Okay. So, 5.56 millimeter. Pistol, 9 millimeter. Why? 8 out of 10 pistols in the world, 80%. 80% in the world. 80% of all pistols in the world are 9 millimeter. So if you're focused on the concept of battlefield pickup, right? You're gonna need to be able to find some of this laying around. "Bear, I can't believe," hey, there's a wood chip. "I can't believe you've got FMJ in your pistol." Yeah, I probably need to switch it because these are my Homestead rounds. Let's see, what's over here? And I got tired of shooting hollow points through chickens. There we go. There's my People magazine, so we'll swap. There we go. This stuff's everywhere. You can find this 115 grain jacketed, or not jacketed hollow point, full metal jacket, 9 millimeter, everywhere, and it's dirt cheap. Okay, so for practicing, low cost. For scavenging or battlefield pickup, it's everywhere. Okay, same thing with 5.56. These are United States military rounds that are used and used often, so you can get a decent deal on this ammunition. Shotgun. Here we go. Where's my thing? I lost the thing. There it is. He says. Shotgun. I would get a 12 gauge or a 20 gauge. 12 gauge is far more common than the 20 gauge. Far more common. However, if you're a smaller statured human being, 20 gauge is going to go well for you. And a 20 gauge at the right load or right distance with the right load will just wear your target out. I've been using a 20 gauge to begin the process of butchering turkeys on our homestead lately. Right load at the right distance. Don't even need an axe to take the head off. Don't even need the axe to take the head off. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So don't discount the 20 gauge. And if you're a smaller person, small statured male or a female or youth, not saying the interruptions, they just keep happening. 12 gauge or 20 gauge. And again, not to say that women can't run 12 gauges because they can. Just saying, you might think about a 20 gauge. Okay. What about a 22 long rifle? Yes. ... This is for me for practice, pest control, maybe small game hunting. I have shot a raccoon in the face right here at 7 yards with a 22 long rifle and had it sneeze and had chicken feathers fly out of its mouth. It was eating one of my chickens. It sneezed and then it ran away. So I get a lot of comments all the time about the 22 long rifle at the right distance with the right load, man. It'll make meat out of anything. No, it won't. Maybe statistically, maybe in ballistic gel, maybe in blah, blah, blah in controlled environments. It won't. That being said, a well-placed 22 long rifle shot will drop a deer. It will do the things, man, but I am not using it for self-defense. Absolutely not. Because the same guys who are like, the 5.56 is a pea shooter, man. I would never bet my life on that. They're like, this is my 22 long rifle, survival rifle. I'm like, are you hearing yourself? No. The 22 long rifle is not a survival round, says me. And especially if your basic tenet is, I'm gonna hunt, fish, trap, scavenge, forage my way through the apocalypse. No, because if you were, you'd already be doing it. So if you don't know how to hunt with a 22 rifle or hunt anything of any significant size, no. It is not the one round to rule them all, says me. That's my personal experience. Now, it's a great training rifle. It's a great small game rifle. You can just wear out rabbits and squirrels all day with that sucker. I've killed turkeys with the 22. That's illegal, Bear. We were starving. So I killed turkeys with a 22. Shot placement, yes. With all rounds, shot placement for sure. But it's just not as good as it's been hyped up to be. But it's a great practice round. I mean, a suppressed 22, that's a great anti-dog weapon. How could you kill a dog? Well, if that dog is attacking you or your kids, or you need to infiltrate a position in the middle of the night and there's dogs over there, a suppressed 22 will get the job done. A suppressed subsonic 45 is even better. So, just saying. Okay, and then that brings us to long guns. I know I'm making lots of y'all mad. That's okay. Go watch the video. I have one video called, I think it's 5.56 for SHTF, that explains a lot of this. And then there's another video that you should watch called How Much Ammo for SHTF, which is we're going to touch on here in a minute. Then your long gun, I would say start with .308 Winchester, okay? Because then you can also run 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO, okay? And then from there, do you want a 338 because it's badass, or a 300 Win Mag, or maybe I want a 50 BMG. Yeah, you better make a whole bunch of money if you're gonna feed that thing regularly. Or what about the 270? That's a great round. The 243, great round. My personal favorite is a 7mm Remington Magnum. Outside of doing the tactical things, I love that round. That round is just like, the deer might as well just fall over and die if I'm walking around holding that rifle. Like, great luck with that round. Very flat trajectory as well. What about, Bear, I can't believe you did, oh, okay, stand by. 6.5 Creed. Now, this is not the consummate discussion on weapons and ammunition. But I will say this, the 6.5 Creedmoor is a target round that is now being adapted to an anti-personnel round and a hunting round, but its roots are in a target round. And so you have, it's a very good round. Man-stopping wise, is it any better than a 308? No. But the ballistic calculations required to put rounds on target are going to be less tedious with a 6.5 Creedmoor than they are with a 308 Winchester. But there's a lot more 308 Winchester than there is 6.5 Creedmoor right now. Okay, so your long gun, I would start here at 308 first and then consider all these other options. Because again, this is a NATO round. There's lots of it. You can get it relatively cheaply for a 30 caliber rifle round. And again, if you're gonna be engaging in battlefield pickup, you will find a lot more of this, most likely, than these other rounds. And then there's lots of boutique rifle rounds. I mean, there's hundreds of lesser known and boutique rifle rounds. Then ammo, how much ammo? So for your carbine, these are minimums. minimums. 1,000 rounds. Your pistol, 500 rounds. Your shotgun, 500 rounds. Your .22 rifle, all of them, I'd say at least 500 rounds. Because they come 500 rounds in a brick. So a brick being like a box that's this big. So at least 500 rounds. I mean, I have thousands upon thousands of 22 rounds because they're relatively inexpensive. They are size and weight efficient. They just don't hit very hard. So don't go kidding yourself that they hit very hard, because they don't. Yeah, but I watched a video at 300 meters. This guy was still getting 4 to 6 inches of penetration in FBI ballistic gel through denim. Okay. 6 inches of penetration in ballistic gel. Let's see what a 5.56 does at 300 meters in ballistic gel. See what I'm saying? And who here can accurately shoot a 22 at 300 meters? Precisely. Okay, and then our long gun, 200 plus. This is to start, and then I would go in increments of this up from there. Until when? Until, I don't know, the second coming. And again, start your, go watch the How Much Ammo for SHTF video, because I address all of that there in much deeper detail. So let's go armor. If you're gonna wear armor, says me, so if you're gonna wear armor, I would get level 3 plus or level 4. Why? I'm wearing armor, right? If I'm wearing armor, that means rounds are going to be flying. If we are in a chaos type situation, I have to assume that somebody around me is going to be armed with a rifle. I just have to. And so why am I going to take the weight on a level 3 plate or, you know, level 2 soft armor? And granted, level 2 soft armor weighs far less than level 4 hard plates do. But the weight, the discomfort, the rig, the whole thing, if I'm going to do this anyway, I'd much rather have level 4 plates, or even, you know, these level 3 plus that are coming from Spartan Armor are like guaranteed to stop at least 6 .308 Winchester rounds, at least 6. So, and then level 4 is on up from there. So if I'm gonna take the weight, if I'm gonna spend the money, why spend $200 on some level 3 plates that can't stop AP rifle rounds when I could spend $350 on some level 4 plates that will? Like, armor is just not the place for me where we make concessions. I'll spend less money and take less weight. Like, no, if we're gonna wear armor, I'm wearing armor. It's like, all right, we're gonna go into a sword fight. That guy's probably gonna be wielding a broadsword. Here's some armor that'll only stop a dagger. Why even wear the damn armor, okay? So, yes, these things are highly prevalent. Yes, there's a possibility that somebody could, in a bad situation, put rounds on you with one of these. Cool. Well, level 4 armor will stop 9mm, but level 2 armor that's designed to stop 9mm will not stop 5.56, 7.62 by 39 AK rounds, SKS rounds, or 7.62 51 rounds. So we're not cheaping out on armor, and while weight is definitely a factor, if we're already wearing this rig, I'm running level 4 plates. Okay, me personally, that's what I run, is level 4 plates. If you're not going to get level 4, I would recommend level 3 plus or level 4. I just bought some of this for a client recently, and I don't know by the time you see this video if you can even buy this anymore. I hope so. Yay, government. So that's my philosophy on armor. Should you have it? I think so, yes. I think so, yes. Now, we are not going and looking for situations where we need to have armor. But if somebody else makes that decision for us, if we find ourselves in a situation where, hey man, we should really have some armor, it's nice to have some armor. It's really nice to have some armor. And the other thing that I've always said about armor is that while, yes, it's extremely important that it stops around right here, mentally, there's something that happens when you put that armor on. For me, it's got to feel much like a knight, you know, in the Middle Ages when they put their armor on. They're like, all right, I'm going to war now, right? And that your headspace gets different when you put that armor on. Same thing with me. I put that plate carrier on, strap that sucker on, adjust the cummerbund where I need it, throw a rifle sling over it, and a different person emerges. So there's a thing that happens mentally when you put that armor on, like football players, when you put your shoulder pads on and you step onto the field, now we're switched on, baby. I'm gonna drill you into the ground, right? Your headspace is different. And so I like armor as much for that as I do for its capacity to stop incoming rounds. Okay. Boy, we got a cruise. Commo, which will be its own video, but commo, you must have commo as part of your security plan. Your ability to communicate is vital. If I don't know what you know and you don't know what I know and we're working in concert together, there's a strong possibility that Murphy or the bad guys or just circumstance can get us twisted up and then bad things can happen. So we need to be able to communicate. This video is not that video. I have a video called SHTF Prepper Commo or something like that. Prepper Commo for SHTF, something. Bear Independent Commo, C-O-M-M-O in the search bar, okay? But you need to have some kind of commo. And really you need redundancy on your commo. Now what about visual? You need to be able to see. This is one of the reasons on like these carbines where you'll see the guy who's like, I've got this one AR to rule them all, and it has a dot sight and a magnifier and a bipod and a vertical grip, and it's got a 20-inch barrel, and then it's got a big Magpul PRS stock on the back of it, and I use it for doing room clearing, and so I've got a PEC 15 on it and an illuminator, and then I also have a 3 to 9 side mounted, and like, bro, Frankengun, stop. Pick a philosophy of use. Is it a 0 to 100 meter gun, 0 to 200 meter gun, or is it a 200 to 500 meter gun? One of these two things. Part of that is these awesome low power variable optics that you can get now. The 1 to 6s, the 1 to 8s. I run to a 2 to 7 on my recce rifle. And the reason for that I do that is visual. This right here, PID, positive identification, right? If all I have is an aim point and I'm looking and I'm like, man, I got no magnification. I'm not entirely sure what that thing is 200 yards away, but I've got a 7 power scope. Turn that knob, I'm on 7 power. I'm like, oh, that's one of our dudes. Or that's not one of our dudes. What are they doing here? Okay, so also with this would be binoculars, other types of telescopic sights, just spotting scopes, and then the establishment of LPOP, listening posts and observation posts. And then that's going to require that you do an area study and you understand how to use a topo map, and that you basically are good with aerial photography, right? And you need to identify places where this will work. And this is not that video because this is a 30,000 foot elevation overview. But you need the ability to talk to each other, and you need the ability to see, not just what's in front of you, but what's out at great distance. And then I would also submit what's happening around you in the middle of the night. And now you get into things like night vision, FLIR, etc. Okay? And again, this is not that video, but there's lots of other videos on that. This should make you think about those things. Especially right here. If I can see in the dark and you can't, and we decide that, hey, we're gonna fight in the dark, guess who's gonna win? 10 times out of 10. So, got a video coming out on Patreon about that. Perimeter, okay? This is, again, come on thing. We're gonna get some Velcro for this. We're gonna Velcro it right here. Oh, by the way, check out this. Chris from Half-Breed Guitars sent that. That's pretty cool, huh? And then we actually, here, let's do some spinny spin. We got some new flags over here. Thank y'all. Y'all are probably like, what are those names written on the wall? That's from Tactical Tuesday. Should tune in sometime. Yeah. See my drums over there? Oh yeah, baby. Okay. So, anyway, perimeter. Let's just say, because perimeter, access, egress all kind of go together. Okay, let's say this is our plot of land, and there's a gate here and a gate here, and there's a house here and a barn here, and the road comes in like this, and say it does like so. Okay, all right, and then there's a big tree here and a big tree here and a big tree here. Okay, you loving this picture? I know, it's tremendous. Bear with me, okay? So, perimeter. This perimeter of this piece of land should be fenced all the way around. Okay? Just to control access and egress just on your perimeter, because it's going to be difficult to keep eyes. Maybe he has a mustache and he's mad. It's going to be difficult to keep eyes on all this. That's a great arrow, T. I know, thanks. To keep eyes on this all the time, okay? So fences help keep honest people honest, but they can also control access, egress of larger things like vehicles. People are gonna go over, under, through fences if they want to, but things like vehicles, so forth, so on, that's gonna take a little bit of time, which time equals into reaction time for you, okay? Especially if there's great distance from the house, say, to this corner back here. Maybe this is 500 yards, but we can hear them over here, see, because he's got an ear too, right? So, and he's turning his ears way up so he can hear. You can hear what's going on over here. So this fence is gonna buy you a little bit of time. You should have the perimeter of your property fenced regardless. Over here, there should be gates. They should live closed. You open your gates when you want to go in and out, otherwise they live closed. The reason that you would do such a thing is so that if in the event that you transition from your normal everyday life to, hey, now we're hardening up, our threat level has gone up, and so we're going to respond by raising our preparedness level. There's no visual cue that, hey, they usually keep their gate open and now it's closed. No, our gates are closed all the time. We open them when we want them. And these are stout gates. Now, big trucks can drive through pretty much anything other than concrete barriers and HESCO barriers. But it should be something that will make somebody think twice about driving through your gate, although most people will not just barrel through your gates, okay? Now, part of this, let's say that there's a hill right here. Maybe I want to put some guys here and have some fields of fire like this and like this, especially, and then we're getting into security, but now if I can use these tree lines, so now I've got overlapping fields of fire. Hold on, we should do our fields of fire in a different color because we're awesome. Now I've got, say, overlapping fields of fire in this region, and I've got overlapping fields of fire in this region, okay? So if somebody does come through the gates, we're good. A lot of you guys are probably like, WTF, what just happened? You messed the picture up. I'm sorry. So all of this briefly on perimeter, access, egress. You need a way to control people coming and going. Another thing to consider is if you're looking at your area, if you have a map like so, right, and the road comes in here and it does one of these, right, and there's like a main road and these are driveways. This is not a tree, okay? These are driveways, and let's say this is your driveway right here. If there's a tree here and a tree here, on either side of the road have a cable pre-cut, already tied around this tree with a carabiner or a shackle or a quick link or whatever here that you can run around this tree and hook it back together to limit vehicles going up and down. A lot of people say, oh, well, I'll just cut that tree and lay it across the road. Well, what happens when you need to come and go, bro? What happens when your neighbor up here is like, hey, I'm gonna need to get out. Okay, let's cut this tree up. Okay, how are we gonna shut this road down again? Steel cables are a good thing. And just FYI, that and many other preparedness tips, because I get so many of the basic questions. This is not my book. This is my pastor's book, Survivalist Family, Prepared Americans for a Strong America by Joe Fox, Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness and Shofar Mountain. There's a ton of stuff in here for the noob and for the person who's been in this for decades. There's a ton of stuff jam-packed in this little book. I think it's a $20 bill. I don't even know. I've had this for a long time. I've had this for longer than I've known Pastor Joe, so that's pretty cool. But highly recommended, because there are things like this in there, right? But now you want to consider, like this guy, you've now shut this guy out, or do we want to keep that guy out? So maybe we need to go from here to here, right? Well, what about this guy? And how many people is it going to take to man this position if we have to open this and close this? Access, egress, things to think about regarding security. Now, all of this is going to hinge on a couple of things. And again, 10,000, 30,000, 100,000 foot elevation, okay? I want you to remember this. An army marches on its what? Stomach, that's right. Food is security, okay? You need to write that down as big as you can in your prepper notebook, an entire page. Food is security. I've talked about this repeatedly. A lot of these missions that we go on, in fact, all of these missions that we go on, we have a protocol. The first thing is we serve the Father. The second is we serve our fellow man, and then underneath that, directive 3 is everything is training. We learn a hell of a lot and relearn a hell of a lot doing these things. The amount of food that it takes to feed 3 dozen volunteers for 3 days will blow your mind. We're talking hundreds of pounds of food, hundreds of gallons of water, not bottled water, just water to prepare and clean, okay? So food and water is security. It absolutely is security. And then that gets back to the militant farmer concept, okay? You need food. You need to be able to produce your own food. You need to have food stored, and you need to be able to protect it. The militant farmer concept, think about that. You know, absorb that into your being. You have to be able to do these things, okay? Food is the #1 security issue. The reason that one would need food is because you're going to have to do things like post watch, control access and egress, patrol the perimeter, establish LPs and OPs so that you have visual control of the area, maintain a commo plan so that your guys who are wearing armor and holding the weapons can actually all work together to do the things. Now, the problem with most people's plan is that all of these people are gonna have to eat. So if you're gonna have things like teams that are posting watch, what are they gonna eat? It all comes back to food. It all comes back to food. And so, as a brief aside, here's our benchmark for a MAG, right? Which is a mutual assistance group, right? 1 is line gear. And so that's gonna look like rifle, which has been zeroed, deuce gear. So that's gonna be like your chest rig, your plate carrier, your war belt, whatever. And then, blowout kit, and then rucksack. And this is 72 hours capability. This is like a typical militia style loadout, and we are not that. This M is for mutual assistance group, okay? So our first issue, or our first requirement is line gear. Our second is 1 year of Food. Put up. Ready to go, baby. Pretty low bar, really, for introduction into the mag, okay? Why is that? Because people got to eat, bro. And we are not going to be able to feed all the people all the time. People have got to be able to eat. So we ignore food and water to our detriment in a security capacity. The other thing that it does for us is that if people come along who would be good to have for the team, the tribe, the mag, the pick your term, we can hire them on per se. We can take care of them if we have a bunch of food, right? So this is why, even though technically I don't need to keep stocking food, I keep stocking food because I don't know who the Father's going to send to me. I don't know what my team is going to look like 20 days, 40 days, 180 days after the balloon goes up. But I want to have as much food and water squared away as I can so I can take care of as many people as I can, so I can form the strongest teams possible in regard to security as I can. Because the more people I have with weapons and armor, the more guys I have in the commo shack, the more people who are manning LPOP, the more eyes we have on the perimeter, the better that I can control access and egress, and I can post watch and I can form successful teams, all built around food and water. It's all built around food and water, which again is the militant farmer concept. We have to be able to stock our own food and create our own food by the hand of the Father up out of the ground. We have to. This is a non-negotiable. But we also have to be able to protect all of it. And that's where the security comes into play, right? So it's equal. It's not an either or. It's an and both. They are equal players in this. And they are both columns, pillars of my philosophy. You have to have these things. So this is my brief talk on security. I'll tell you, those of y'all who are interested in the militia type things, go to YouTube channel, The Repentant Yankee. And see that? The Repentant Yankee. Go see Brother Rod at the Repentant Yankee. He's doing an awesome reading right now, going through the Constitution and our founding documents line by line, unpacking that. And he is and will be covering things like the militia. So, and I get this question all the time. I've answered it on YouTube. I've answered it on Patreon. I will put it all in a nutshell right now. Law, how shall I say? The militia has its place. The biggest issue I see with the modern American militia movement is that your supply chain logistics suck, bro. After 72 hours, you're highly dependent. That's a problem. So while doing the pew-pew tactical things, roar, while doing that is cool and you should be able to do it, you should also have somebody who knows how to run Microsoft Excel, and you should have an inventory of all your things everywhere. And there should be truckloads of food and medical and water and blankets and cots and HQ tents and propane and stoves and field expedient kitchens and vehicle fuel and blah blah building materials and blah 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 blah. Instead of just, yeah man, I just bought another 1,000 rounds of ammo. It's like, cool. Roger that. Your 72-hour operational window gets real cute after 72 hours. That's my biggest problem with the American militia movement. Yeah. Guys, that's security. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enduring this ridiculous talking face. I am Bear of BearIndependent.com. If you feel so inclined, please hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell. That helps us give us the thumbs up in the algorithm. And hit me down in the comments and let me know what you would like the next Prepper Classroom to be on. We are working our way through all of these things, and we will continue to. If you feel so inclined, you may click the baby bear. That will take you over to Patreon, where you can see us for $1 a month. There's 24 exclusive pieces of content a month there, as well as giveaways, consult calls, live streams, homestead updates, blah, blah, blah. We do a whole body of work completely independent of and exclusive to Patreon over there. So, with all of that said, Shalom and blessings, y'all. Thank you guys for being here, and thanks for sticking around here in the Prepper Classroom. Later.